Am I the jerk for forcing my older brother to buy me a new engagement ring after he stole mine to propose to his girlfriend? And I'm honestly so offended and unbelievably hurt that at this point, I seriously don't know what to do. Here's what happened. I'm a 26-year-old male and I'm proposing to my girlfriend who's 24 on our 4th anniversary, which is going to be September 30th. I've been planning this for about a month and I picked the ring out a couple of weeks ago. The one I got was on sale, so I managed to get it at a surprisingly low price. Last weekend, I told my brother about my plans and I showed him the ring. He then informed me that he was going to propose to his girlfriend as well. The next day, my brother came to my apartment while my girlfriend was out and asked me if he could borrow my ring to propose to his girlfriend. I thought he was joking at first, but no. His plan was to propose to his girlfriend, explain he was using my ring as a placeholder, and then take her to pick out her own ring later. His reasoning was that he didn't want to spend too much money right away, in case she doesn't say yes. I had never heard of any kind of placeholder rings, so I said no and the conversation moved on. On Tuesday, he proposed to his girlfriend, and he did it with my ring. He had taken it before leaving my apartment. I got distracted at work and didn't notice it was gone until his fiancée sent a picture of herself wearing the ring to our family group chat. I called him to ask about the ring, and he immediately apologizes and said that he'd keep his promise and give it back to me as soon as possible. But at this point, my girlfriend had seen it and his fiancé had posted about it on social media, so it was pointless for me to propose using the same ring. We fought about it, and he eventually confessed that while he told his fiancé the ring was a placeholder, he didn't tell her that he had gotten it from me. I felt more angry and betrayed about him going behind my back and taking the ring after I said no than the fact that he stole it from me. I also know his fiancé enough to know that she wouldn't like to learn about her engagement ring and how it was stolen from me, so I told my brother I would tell her the truth if he didn't buy me a new engagement ring. He fought against it for a few hours, but finally gave up and agreed. We went to a different jewelry store yesterday, and I picked a new ring. I managed to stay in the price range, but the new one was still $100 more expensive. My brother bought the ring, but is still accusing me of being inconsiderate and childish. He is insistent that he would have given me the ring back had I given him the opportunity, and I didn't need to threaten him to spend so much money on him. He is now at this point refusing to talk to me. I don't know how to feel about this anymore. I'd usually talk to my brother about these things, and it's surreal that he's the one I'm fighting. I can't tell my fiance, and many of our friends overlap. The only other person who knows about this is our mom, who is very divided on the issue. She thinks that what my brother did was wrong, and that I'm right to be upset at him, but I didn't have to stoop as low as I did by threatening his relationship. So am I the jerk in this situation? What should I do? No, you are not the jerk in this situation. Your brother is a complete idiot, and so is your mom for even trying to take his side. Let's look at the facts real quick. This guy stole your property, namely the ring you were gonna use to propose to your girlfriend, and then use that ring to propose to his own girlfriend. Like, he literally stole your opportunity and took away the ring that you had placed your heart and soul into. And then he's gonna turn around and be like, I'll keep my promise, bro, I'll give it back. But I agree with the original poster. You have already shown it on social media. There's no point in taking it and giving it to your girlfriend. They're gonna see it and be like, wait, what's going on here? Like, that's a surefire way for the truth to get out and everyone to know that your brother's a scumbag. So truly, him buying a ring and getting a replacement was the only option, because what he did was so unfair. And it's almost like he heard that you were proposing to your girlfriend, so he turned around and was like, wait, no, I'm gonna propose to my girlfriend too. Give me your ring. Like, nobody, get your own. Stop being so cheap and buy one for yourself. But instead, he stole it from you. He did it while you were at work and distracted. He went behind your back and took your property. And that is so unacceptable. Like, he seriously sounds like this really weird and jealous older brother who only wanted to propose to his girlfriend as well as use your ring just to try and take you down a peg or two. And that is unfair. So no, once and for all, you are not the jerk here. Your older brother is a complete moron, and anybody who could seriously take his side is also a moron as well. If you like Am I the Jerk, you're probably going to love Am I the Genius. Check it out, link down below in the description. Also, go to amithejerk.com/submit if you would like to submit your own stories. Am I the jerk after I offered my sister my help and some advice when it comes to taking care of her newborn child? Because right now she's saying that I belittled her, and at this point I seriously don't know what to do. Here's what happened. So my husband and I went through the surrogacy process and had our son 4 months ago. We were thrilled when my sister announced her pregnancy, and we found out we would be having children very near the same time. Our niece was was born a little over 2 months after our son. My situation and my sister's closely mirror each other. Our husbands both work typical 9 to 5s with 30 to 40 minute commutes. My sister is a stay-at-home mom and I do freelance work from home. For the first 2 weeks after our son was born, we would both take partial night shifts. Once I felt like I had at least some of my bearings on parenthood, I offered to take over completely on weeknights while he does mornings before work and weekends. It's a collaborative process and that breakdown of parenting just made sense to me. My husband was the one leaving our home to work every day. He was the one who had to be up at a very specific time and make a drive. At 4 months, we no longer have this obstacle anymore. And to be honest, I kind of miss the sweet, quiet bonding time that those nights provided now that he's settled onto a nice sleep schedule and usually wakes up once. Still, I think we got it down to almost the perfect science right before we exited the newborn stage. My sister, on the other hand, is very much still in that phase and struggling. This has been a reoccurring problem for her from the beginning. She has been coming to me saying that she's scared she's going to fall asleep holding the baby, that her husband won't help her with the night feeds, etc. I tried to give her tips since I have been through it. I suggested that she let her partner take over in the evenings, so from 6 o'clock until 9 p.m., so that she can get to bed early and catch a few hours of sleep. She can also try to take a nap whenever the baby naps, and stuff along those lines. She shot down everything, saying that wouldn't work for us, and that she needed her partner to do some of the night feedings. I reminded her that her husband is the one commuting in the mornings, and falling asleep while driving was a very real possibility, and that if I had lived through it, so could she. I then offered to watch her daughter for a few days so she could try and catch up on sleep. She then took major offense to both of these things. She said I was belittling her experience, while also acting like I was the better parent. She said I couldn't empathize with her or give her valuable tips since she had been pregnant and I hadn't, and that me offering to watch my niece just felt like me saying she needed help with raising her own child. My intentions were definitely not malicious, and I honestly would like some outside perspective here. So am I the jerk for the things that I said to my sister? What should I do? No, you are not the jerk. Your sister's being absolutely obnoxious. Like, first off, you were there to take care of your child. You made it work with your partner, and you really have been like knee deep in the trenches when it comes to raising a newborn. It's not like you're coming at this and being like super arrogant. Like, seriously, everything you said was reasonable advice. And for your sister to be like, oh, well, you didn't carry a baby, so you don't know what it's like. Like, that's so insulting and that's just incredibly rude. It doesn't take away from the fact that you literally raised a child. So no, in my opinion, I don't think you're the jerk. I don't think you did anything wrong. And if anything, it really sounds like your sister is being really obnoxious about this whole process. And that truly is not your fault. An entitled Karen screams at me, demanding that she get her nachos right away, right before she goes to watch her movie. And I've never been more blown away by someone's entitlement in my life. Here's what happened. So to start things out, this happened a few years ago. I was working at a small cinema chain in the United Kingdom, and I had been there for about 6 months, and the movie Frozen 2 had just come out. It was half term, so we were very busy a lot of the days. Now, all of my coworkers had been there for a couple of years, so they knew all the discounted deals, but I didn't. So our cinema did some really special deals, such as you could buy a regular drink and a popcorn. You can make it into a regular deal and try and save money. There were different ones, including a kids deal, which was their choice of either popcorn or a hot dog with a drink. And this will be important later on. So I was working a late shift on the cash register, and we were super busy. And by super busy, I mean that we were out the door with a massive line. And this was also, I think, for the evening showing of Frozen. So a woman comes up to the cash register with her son and asks for a kids deal with nachos. I explain politely, I'm sorry ma'am, kids deals only come with specific choices, and nachos are not included. I proceeded to explain her different deals that she could get with nachos, but obviously they weren't as cheap as the kids deal. This lady kicks off. She starts shouting, pointing to her side of the counter, saying, the sign here clearly says you can get nachos. You need to give me nachos right now. Now, I had no idea what sign she was talking about. There weren't any signs like that when I came into my shift, and I couldn't see it as I was on the other side of the counter. We literally go back and forth like this, me on the verge of tears, with her getting increasingly louder and throwing her arms around, stating, this is false advertisement. I want my nachos. Finally, I radio in my supervisor to help, and she had been watching the whole thing on the cameras. She explained I was right. However, you used to be able to get nachos in the deal, but they stopped it and covered up the sign. And much to our surprise, the new sign had fallen down, showing the old advertisement. Eventually, the woman ended up buying a normal nacho deal. But here's the thing, if she had been nice, I would have just given her the nachos and put it through as has a kids deal, but she was being incredibly rude, so I decided that is absolutely not gonna happen. After the rush, I went upstairs to pretend to adjust a projector, and then I just sat down and cried. I mean, imagine screaming at a teenager over minimum wage nachos that you clearly felt entitled to. Yeah, that lady was completely out of line. There was no reason for her to act that way. In my opinion, you can really see someone's true character with the way they treat people in customer service. I mean, innately, the job of being in customer service already places you below the person you are serving. And if they're a nasty piece of work, they will most likely treat you like garbage in the same way that this lady treated this person. And that is so unacceptable. So truly, I'm so sorry you had to deal with that, because the way she acted was completely unfair, and you absolutely did not deserve to get treated in that way. My elderly dad, who I have been caretaking for, refuses to pay me the proper amount, and now at this point, I seriously don't know what to do. About 8 months ago, I started essentially full-time helping my dad as his health problems have worsened and his state and age have worsened as well. He has had mobility problems and walks with a cane and a walker. He also has heart failure to some degree while also struggling with kidney disease. He was in the hospital earlier in the year several different times, and pretty much since that happened, I essentially gave up my apartment at the time and came to help him out. For me, it was always going to be temporary, never a permanent long-term situation. However, I have been here almost a year, and I have full-time been helping him. I do the meals, grocery shopping, upkeep of the house, bringing him to medical appointments, doing the laundry and the dishwasher, pretty much everything including clearing his dishes in general so he feels a little bit comfortable in his living situation. One of the biggest levels of narcissism he has is control of finances. He likes to feel needed. He has given me $500 a month each month that I have been here. If you were to hire a caretaker, they would easily charge you that probably per week. Now here's the thing, I have let it slide for a long time, but it has really bothered me. Several months ago, I brought it to his attention and told him I'm not comfortable with the amount anymore, and that I've basically given up my life and then I'm looking after him and doing everything, but he just dismissed it at the time. About a week ago, we got into an argument because I basically told him I'm planning to leave this fall. I could tell he was trying to act like his ego wasn't hurt and that he was fine with it and wanted me to leave, although he obviously wants me to continue helping him at the small rate that I'm currently being paid at. Now, when this happened, he said some pretty sick things to me. He basically said that he wished myself as well as my sister were never born and that I was the biggest regret of his life. And obviously, these are very sick things to say. After this happened, I stopped helping him altogether. He was able to start making himself a sandwich for dinner and doing basic meal prep, and I haven't lifted a finger. Each day, he has tried to talk to me about it, even yesterday offering me money to go out and get him dinner. But I told him no. But even then, I have my terms which he hasn't agreed to. And of course, his ego got hurt again, so he went out himself and got himself food. Today, I had a moment where I eventually caved emotionally. I got angry at the fact that he doesn't seem to be budging and can't simply treat me with respect. I told him that it's pretty amazing he would rather be stubborn than actually say he needs me for help and that he's going to compensate me and treat me properly. Whenever I have brought up compensation, he always says that everyone he knows has their children help them and that they supposedly don't care about money. I have sacrificed a lot to be here helping him. He seems to not care about that because he always acts like I'm lucky to be here and not the other way around. At this point, it's been probably 5 or 6 days and I haven't done any sort of meal prep. I haven't done any shopping. I haven't even lifted a finger. I have been looking for a brand new apartment for several weeks at this point. I went to see one and I'm trying to continue looking so that I can leave this situation entirely. In the interim, it's hard that I am financially dependent on him because he uses things like this, and now he's essentially not giving me money that I feel he owes me, especially with everything I've done for him. I have done the research, and the average caretaker makes about $2,500 a month. I would even be willing to flex and do $1,000 a month in the interim, all while I'm still here in the house. He has the finances and simply doesn't want to do it out of principle and control. And at this point, I seriously don't know what to do. Wow, your dad is awful. He is clearly taking advantage of you, and he doesn't have any intention of actually helping you out. That is incredibly unfair and so unkind. So in my opinion, if I was in your shoes, I would just get a job. I would get a job anywhere that just actually pays me money, and I would just straight up save up money so I can get out of there. Build up your money even if it's just a part-time job, and carve your way into a new apartment. Your dad's taking advantage of you. You said it yourself. And it's not like he doesn't have any money to support himself, or even just to hire some kind of worker to help him out. This guy is literally just using you you, and that's not fair. So hopefully some kind of solution can come from this, because the way your dad is acting is absolutely obnoxious and so completely uncalled for. Am I the jerk for getting upset that all of my siblings took a trip to Paris but didn't invite me or even inform me that they were going? And honestly, after everything that's happened, I'm just so upset, and I seriously don't know what to do. So I found out all of my siblings are in Paris through my 15-year-old daughter, who saw some pictures on Facebook and asked me about it. At first, I thought it was a joke or a filter or something, but after I called my stepdad, I confirmed that indeed my siblings were all in Paris for a week, and I had not been invited or told about it at all. I had recently talked to my oldest sister, who had mentioned a special trip with her daughter to Paris, and honestly, I was really excited for her, but she failed to mention that it was also with my two brothers, as well as their families and our other sister. And even then, I still would have been excited for her. When my dad finally responded to my text message, asking if my siblings were all on a trip together, I was told I was being dramatic and needed to get over it because I would not have been able to afford it. So they decided to just not invite me. Now, my siblings are all well off, and I'm disabled, and I barely make ends meet on Social Security. I told my dad it wasn't about me not going, but rather it was about me not even being invited or told about it. So he said to me, "Well, I wasn't invited either, and you don't see me whining about it." But I really don't think it's the same at all. I just wish they would have asked me and let me decide for myself if I could go or not. It just sucks so badly. I feel like they are ashamed of me. I already feel less than by society as a whole, and now I feel the same way by my family. It's made me incredibly depressed. Like, why am I even here? The people that are supposed to love me would rather believe I don't exist. I ended the night by crying, and I blocked everyone on everything. Now, the blocking wasn't just because of this one incident. This is just the final straw on the camel's back. And also, I never expected them to pay for me, and especially for an expensive trip like this. I mean, my brothers take international trips frequently, and I see those pictures online, and I think it's awesome. I'm just sad because this is literally everyone minus me. This was a big trip for my sisters, and I just wish I had been told ahead of time instead of being kept in the dark. So am I the jerk for getting upset about not getting invited? What should I do? Okay, first off, the way they treated you is absolutely awful. That is so unacceptable, and that's just so disgusting. I mean, the fact that you were kept in the dark about this sends a very clear message straight to you. They are basically telling you that no, they don't want you there, and that they really do judge you based on your disability as well as your financial situation. So no, you are not the jerk here. Your sisters and your dad are absolutely being jerks, and it is completely unacceptable that they chose not to invite you. An entitled Karen freaks out when I take her bathroom stall, claiming that she has ownership over it as she always uses that specific stall anytime she uses the bathroom. And I'm honestly just so blown away by her awful behavior. Here's what happened. So this literally just happened. I'm sitting in the food court area of my local mall typing this up as we speak, and truly I think it belongs here. I was just in the mall bathroom. It is pretty big, and I think there are about 8 to 10 stalls in it. When I entered the bathroom, it looked like only one other stall was occupied. I chose a stall randomly, and I settled in to do my business. I hear the doors to the bathroom open, as well as loud clicks from high heels. They stop outside my stall, and I'm startled by a loud banging. Then I hear a nasally, "Excuse me," and I say to them, "Someone's in here," and this is the following conversation that actually happened. The entitled Karen says, "Yeah, no duh. Can you hurry up? I need that stall." I say to her, there are plenty of open stalls you can choose from." The entitled Karen says, "Do you think I'm blind? I want this one. Now hurry up, I have somewhere to be." Now at this point, I'm honestly a little stumped, so I stutter just a little bit. "Well, I'll be out when I'm done. If you're seriously in that much of a hurry, you can use one of the empty stalls." The entitled Karen then says, "Listen here, you jerk. I don't like your attitude. This is my stall. I use it every time I'm here. Now move it." Now at this point, she is literally shaking the stall, and now I'm getting upset. I start screaming, "You need to back up. You can't own a stall in a public bathroom. Now leave me alone." The entitled Karen is now kicking and shaking the door. I loudly sigh, and I decide to just ignore her. I also decide I'm going to purposefully sit in this stall longer, even though I'm done with my business. This psychopath continues to hurl insults, as well as kick and shake the door, literally for a solid 5 minutes. Finally, she screams out some swear words, and eventually she loudly clicks and clacks out the bathroom door. I mean, honestly, who thinks that they actually own a specific stall in a mall bathroom? Some people, just like this entitled Karen, are just straight up psychopaths. Wow, that's honestly the craziest thing I've ever heard. Seriously, you want to try and claim a stall in a bathroom, let let alone one at the mall? Like seriously, why would you do that? Is it really necessary to be like, oh, I call dibs on this one. I go here all the time. Like I have so many questions. Why are you willingly at the mall all the time? Like does anyone actually want to be here? I know when I go to my local mall that's slowly withering away, I'm just immediately bombarded with many reasons as to why I don't want to be here. So truly good for you for getting back at this weird entitled Karen. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody staking a claim over a bathroom stall before, but the way you handled it was perfect, and this entitled Karen absolutely had it coming. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist at the top of the description. And if you want some vibey music to put on in the background, check out easymode. If you like Am I the Jerk, check out Am I the Genius. Everything will be linked in the description.